5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To scratch and major itch. So enjoy your fruity pebbles, you yabba dabba bitch.
They've killed him! I'm CM Punk, and I am the voice of the voiceless.
Be the man. You gotta beat the man. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. I got okie doke by Little Jimmy.
Live from the Pro Wrestling Report studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Monday Night Meltdown with your hosts, Damian Nelson and David Hero.
I'm proud to say we're doing things the Vince McMahon way.
That's the bottom line. What? Cause Stone Cold said so.
Bringing you all the latest news and views from professional wrestling. Monday Night Meltdown is on the air.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for Monday Night Meltdown. Damian Nelson coming here alongside David Hero and Matthew Thomas. Monday, October 22nd, 2012. WWE Raw emanating from New York, the Izod Center tonight, and standing tall at the end of the night yet again was the man who challenges CM Punk for the WWE Championship this Sunday at Hell in a Cell, Ryback. We're going to be taking your phone calls, ladies and gentlemen. The number 877-317-9772. Again, that's 877-317-9772. And we will be taking those phone calls here tonight. We're also asking you to follow us on Twitter. At PWR Show on Twitter is our username. And we are sending out a tweet in just a moment asking you to retweet whether you thought Raw was a passing or a failing grade tonight. But first, I want to welcome David and Matthew. And David, you've been a big fan of Ryback. And tonight, he gets the upper hand on CM Punk again.
I may not be a big fan of Ryback, but I can definitely read the writing on the wall. Ryback is the man that they are going with right now. It's obvious. It's as clear as day.
Well, clearly, for at least, as you said earlier via Twitter, at least the next couple of weeks, while John Cena, not only continues to get healed up, even though we found out he was medically cleared to return to the ring tonight, but also gets cleared up of this controversy that he seems to be dab smack in the middle of after tonight, because AJ, the general manager of Raw, forced to resign tonight as general manager due to allegations of fraternization with a talent in WWE. We would find out later tonight, that the allegations was between her and John Cena, and that there is to prove it. Now, there was no return of GTV tonight, but Vince McMahon comes out with AJ along with her resignation and announces that there is a replacement. And that replacement is not the general manager or even the interim general manager, but the managing supervisor of WWE Raw, and her name is Vicky Guerrero. First act of business Vicky has is that matchup between Punk and Sheamus, champion versus champion tonight on Raw, which would also be the largest lumberjack match in WWE Raw history. Matthew, your thoughts on AJ's resignation and the new story between her and John Cena?
Well, she's a captivating character. I'm not really sure that the whole GM thing was her forte. She had a big summer being involved in the Kane-Punk storyline, the Daniel Bryan storyline as well, and I think they really went with trying to kind of capture some of that lightning in a bottle and put her in the GM role. And to me, it never really felt like she got that momentum back that she had earlier in the summer. So I'm perfectly fine with seeing her step out of that GM role into another more, I hesitate to say traditional storyline, but more into a storyline per se rather than that authority figure. So hopefully they will construct it in the right way to, keep her interesting and keep her relevant as the weeks go by.
Big Show also had a matchup tonight, and that was with Kane. The match with Kane resulted in Kane being knocked out, if you will, knocked out by the Big Show. A big night for Big Show tonight, David Hero.
It was actually a huge night for Big Show, because what they did is they got over the strength of Big Show's weapon of mass destruction. The knockout punch took out Kane early, the chokeslam takes out Sheamus later, after Sheamus establishes the power of the bro kick. They did a great job of setting up, Big Show for his big world title match on Sunday night, and I think the way the dynamic of the Big Show has been is it's going to be far more competitive than we thought originally.
Yeah, but it's another Big Show match. Big Show, Sheamus, and
it's a different Big Show. He's a loner. He's a rebel, Daddy. You know what I mean? He's just a different character, and he's focused and he's ready and he's dominating like he has in the past. But now he's more of an angry giant, and I think he's going to change the landscape.
Giant.
I think he's going to change the landscape on Sunday. I think that, one way or another, that there will be a new world champion at Hell in a Cell.
So you think there's going to be a new world champion and a new WWE champion this Hell? So I can't wait for Be the Booker Friday night coming to PWRshow.com to see the comedy show that you're going to put on when you pick Ryback to beat Punk this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. That's all I'm saying. But
you know what's funny about that is that I've put a lot of time and effort. I've been
337 days.
I've been preparatory for this. For this Be the Booker.
Preparatory?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did you prepare as much as your boy Mitt Romney tonight?
You know what? I didn't get a chance to watch the debate because I was busy doing research for this week's PWR show. I'll be watching the debate.
Yeah.
I will be watching the debate after I go off the air tonight.
A lot of focus tonight on WWE Raw on a lot of key talents. And the opening matchup
are
was
you kidding me? Seriously.
What do you mean, am I kidding? There was a lot of focus on a lot of talent.
On a lot of key talent?
There were.
Okay. I want to hear it.
Okay. Yeah, please listen. Please listen closely because you, Mr. Hater Man, you're going to be hard-pressed to spin this one to your side. The tag team tournaments, the finals. Rey Mysterio's back, and it's Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow. And after a brilliant count block from Damien Sandow, Cody Rhodes, the Rhodes Scholars are the number one contenders for tag team championships, and they will go into Hell in a Cell this Sunday to face Team Hell No, and possibly will become the brand new WWE Tag Team Champions. That was the first in a series of surprising victories tonight on Raw, and focus that was clearly on this team of the Rhodes Scholars all night long, including later in the newly tag game where we found out Kane was a Scorpio. But Matthew Thomas, you had some comments about this matchup, especially Damien Sandow's expertise in this matchup earlier tonight.
Oh, I thought it was a phenomenal way to start the show off. I loved they started with something a little bit non-traditional. It wasn't a WWE title segment. It was the Tag Team Championship match to open the show. I thought the match placement with it leading off Raw gave it another level of added performance. I thought it was a great match. Both of these tag teams really gel well together. And with the Rhodes Scholars, I got to say, they get across enough of their individual characters, but yet with these two guys having so much of a similar character as well, they actually look like a tag team, and they mesh very well together. So a tremendous match, and I think these guys as a tag team for the next little while, and maybe even tag team champions potentially have a lot of good stuff ahead of them.
Thank you, Matthew, for that clear and unbiased analysis of the future tag team champions, the Rhodes Scholars. The next matchup was Kofi Kingston versus, get ready for this, ladies and gentlemen, Michael McGillicuddy with The Miz on commentary. How about Miz's new T-shirt, David? Haters love me, with a little heart, like I love New York. Haters heart me.
You know what?
Well, I actually already ordered 4 of them at WWEshop.com.
Did you really?
Well, yeah, they're going to sell out, by the end of the week, I'm sure.
There's no question. You know what? I thought it was just funny how The Miz comes out in this new suit, his new Hollywood look, and then he has a T-shirt like that. You'd think he would have gone in a different direction. But I'm sure he's going to sell a lot of T-shirts. I mean, hell, you already bought 4. You know,
what different direction? Should he have a Jimmy Hart airbrush jacket?
No. I mean, more of a sophisticated shirt, maybe like a Sandow. I mean, I know you've bought 4. Julio Melendez probably bought at least a dozen.
Who?
Absolutely, your buddy Julio. So, yeah, it's just very, very interesting.
Kofi Kingston winning that matchup.
No, let's go back to The Miz. What's going on with him?
Oh, I've been happy to.
Well, tell me.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's going on with him?
Why do they take the
rematch at Hell in a Cell against Kofi Kingston?
Right. Okay, but let's see. Yes, I understand he's getting his rematch with Kofi, but at the same time, he does a monster job to Ryback. So that does not put The Miz in a good spot going forward with his match with Kofi at Hell in a Cell.
Puts him in a better spot than your boy Tensai. Did we see him tonight? Was he a lumberjack even?
You know what? He actually was. He was one of the what do you call it? One of the lumberjacks. Hey, listen, Tensai, Zach, Ryder, both on Team Super Friends. I get it. I understand. They're not getting me a whole lot of points. That's fine. Still in third place.
Supposed to be the turnaround. But be that as it may, next matchup, Antonio Cesaro versus Justin Gabriel. But before that match with the surprising outcome, John Cena came back and said that the face of WWE will change Sunday at Hell in a Cell. He continues his glowing endorsements of Ryback. He actually then goes on to, after telling us that he's medically cleared to wrestle, to challenge CM Punk, but CM Punk, just before getting in the ring, would be reminded by Paul Heyman that you don't fight for free. That's a quote from Paul Heyman. John Cena really doing everything in his power to make Ryder going into this Sunday's pay-per-view matchup with CM Punk. Back to that matchup between Cesaro and Justin Gabriel. Cesaro, of course, the United States champion. Justin Gabriel actually gets the pinfall victory in that matchup. Nice. And David Hero, you had an opinion as to why that match went that way.
Now you want my opinion?
Will you just stop tweeting?
What do you mean? I'm not tweeting.
I mean, focus for 38 seconds. I will ask that of you. God, I got to repeat.
All right, ask it again. Go ahead.
Of course, because you get the first time. I'm going to go to Matthew. Matthew, Justin Gabriel defeats Antonio Cesaro. Surprising, because Cesaro's been getting victories over the last several weeks on Raw. Your thoughts on the reasoning behind Gabriel getting a win in that non-title matchup?
Well, he's another one of those talents that up until this point has really been underutilized. I mean, every time I've seen him in the ring, he can perform. He consistently delivers, and I don't see any better spot for him right now than in that U.S. title picture. And I think it adds a little bit of intrigue to that division, and really maybe Cesaro's first considerable opponent, first considerable program since he's had that title, other than the back and forth that we got from Santino, of course. Hopefully it will be an interesting program that will deliver some quality matches here in the upcoming weeks.
Thank you, Mitch. Here's a question about Cesaro.
Cesaro is being used to help elevate some of the mid-card guys. Justin Gabriel, super talented. He hasn't had a whole lot since he was tag champs. I still don't understand why they're going with Justin Gabriel and Cesaro. I mean, there's other guys that they could be pulling up and making into stars quicker. But, what was funny, Damien Nelson, is when you and I were chatting earlier, I commented that I would not have known Cesaro would have won because I wasn't paying attention to that match because Cesaro's been on cruise control for quite a while right now. And it was shocking to see him trip up against the Justin Gabriel.
Here's the thing about Antonio Cesaro, in my opinion. That music has got to go. I think it's bringing him down. I think he needs some better music that's more reflective of his character.
He needs Oksana back. He really does. He does. Because he needs that other it quality about him. Cesaro, you know what? I love his finish. I think it's a tremendous finisher. He's a super talented technician in the ring, but he needs that sizzle to go at that steak, and Oksana brought that other dimension. Now, she hasn't been really anywhere since she was taken off TV, so maybe they felt she wasn't ready. But eventually, he will need something else.
Yeah, good point. As you mentioned earlier, Ryback snuck a victory. The Miz distracted by some unruly fan at ringside. Dolph Ziggler gets a matchup with Daniel Bryan. And as announced earlier, Vicky Guerrero is the new managing supervisor of Raw, so no more Vicky in the corner of Dolph Ziggler, but what an excellent matchup between him and Daniel Bryan, and who would expect anything less? We're reminded that Dolph Ziggler has guaranteed that he will cash in Money in the Bank this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. After this, though, we find out that they're going to have to compete, will be Team Hell No against the Rhodes Scholars in a newly tag game, which is, yes, a play off the newly wed game. And, well, you know what? It was actually entertaining for a time there, but not as entertaining as the match between Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan, two tremendous wrestlers who delivered in the ring tonight. And Dolph Ziggler getting some promo time as well with a backstage interview just before that main event matchup. Was this a recovery or reset week for Dolph Ziggler?
Damien.
What are you doing?
Nelson.
Focus. Pay
I would
attention.
appreciate I would appreciate it if you would quit muting my mic. This is getting to be absolutely obnoxious. Tonight
what
was
are you,
the
Jim Ross
beginning
from
of
1996? Stop it.
No, listen. Tonight was the beginning of the end for Team Hell No. All right? You saw the knee injury to Daniel Bryan Danielson. Then you see the Big Show knocking out Kane. They're making the tag team champions very vulnerable for Rhodes Scholars. Because right now, before tonight, Team Hell No is on fire. Unstoppable. Fans behind them. Crowd goes nuts. They're beating everybody. Now there's been a whole bunch of injuries and tweaks and knocks against the tag team champions of the world, which should make it easier if they were to drop the belts to the Rhodes Scholars.
Good point. I'll give you that one at least. Alberto Del Rio gets a marquee match with Zack Ryder. I mean, wow. This was a wrestling classic, Matthew, it seemed like anyways. But what I will say about this matchup, it served its purpose with the beatdown after the matchup with ADR, with Ryder in the submission hold, and ADR saying that he is the new apex predator in WWE, and Randy Orton being nowhere to be found. I think they needed this going into Sunday's matchup at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, it was very cut and dry, very much what you would expect with ADR going up against Zack Ryder. One thing we saw tonight that we have seen, it seems like more and more recently, is Del Rio winning via submission. And he really looks, to me, stronger in this program with Orton than we've seen him in any of the program he had with Sheamus that seemed like it ran for 6 months almost. He really seems like, it's funny to say that somebody would be in a better position when they're in more of an undercard feud, but he really looks like, to me, like more of a viable competitor in this feud that he's got with Orton thus far.
Well put, David Hero. You are a fan of Alberto Del Rio, and I'll tell you this: I'm a fan of that car he had this week. I might go get one next week. But Dave, your thoughts on Alberto Del Rio going into this match?
You know what? Del Rio has been consistent for the past year. He gets up to the pay-per-view, and then he struggles. Randy Orton not being on Raw is not that big of a surprise because he's really the SmackDown brand main event guy. He'll definitely get his moment on SmackDown Friday night. But ADR, you know what? Say what you want. Say he's boring. Say he hasn't won the big one in a while. He goes out there and he has a decent match every time out. No one can say that his skill set isn't up to par, that it's not a main event skill set. It's just unfortunate that, he gets stuck in these mid-card matches all the time. I mean, what really does Zack Ryder do for Alberto Del Rio except to get him more as a heel by making the kid-friendly babyface tap out?
Yeah. No, I guess.
That is twice now you have agreed with me tonight.
That's twice now what?
That you have agreed with my opinions.
Well, I learned tonight that a person who spends a year and a half just spinning things and telling vicious untruths could be different if at times, you sort of drop to their level and just sort of say, all right, to them.
All right.
Speaking of all right, big show this past Saturday night, David Hero in Racine, Wisconsin. Brand new GLCW champion crowned in Robbie E.
Yeah. Who would have thought that TNA Impact Wrestling's former TV champion, Robbie E., would defeat Armando Estrada and Mr. Anderson on the same night in Racine, Wisconsin, in front of 500-plus fans for GLCW Resistance Pro Show. Pretty amazing. But what was even more amazing is what happened after the show. Shenanigans, cocktails, everything else. And how does Robbie E. leave Milwaukee, Wisconsin wearing a Damien Nelson family T-shirt?
Because Robbie E.'s a smart cat. He's a smart dude.
That's
he has
what
one, but a smart dude.
See, I leave you two alone in the hotel room. We leave. We check out the whole thing. And the next thing I know, Robbie leaves in the morning, boards the plane in that green T-shirt.
We are asking you right now on Twitter, at PWR Show on Twitter, we're asking you right now to share with us your thoughts. Was Raw a pass or a fail? We let you, the fans, decide here on the Pro Wrestling Report Monday Night Meltdown, and we're actually going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to go to your phone calls. We'll find a fan who thought Raw was a pass and one who thought Raw was a fail, and listen to their points, reasoning each point. This is the Pro Wrestling Report Monday Night Meltdown on Blog Talk in just a moment.
Monday Night Meltdown continues after this, live on Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Wrestling Report, Monday Night Meltdown. Damien Nelson, David Hero here with you for the balance of the program to now get your feedback. And we're going to go into the phone zone. And I want to start out in Texas, San Antonio to be specific. Let's go to Justin, who thought Raw tonight was a pass. So, Justin, tell us why you gave Raw a passing grade.
Well, tonight, to be completely honest, I only saw the last 30 minutes because I just got out of work.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. The pass-fail is for the overall podcast, not just Cody Rhodes.
But for what I saw, I mean, the Rhodes Scholars once that's a pass already in my book, so. But from what I saw at the end of the Raw tonight, with Ryback, with them coming out, and the match with CM Punk and Sheamus, I thought it was a pretty good lumberjack match. So usually they're more of a cluster, but tonight I thought they did a good job. But I just wanted to comment on two things. With Ryback coming out and at the end, destroying CM Punk, I think it would have been better, just in my opinion, that if they would have had like some of the guys in the ring brawling. And CM Punk in there with Sheamus as well. They didn't have Ryback come out with CM Punk escaping. They didn't have Ryback, beat up some of the heel lumberjacks there in the ring. I think it would have made Ryback actually look a lot stronger with him destroying half the roster there. Just in my opinion. And just one more thing, real quickly. With WWE going to Atlanta and the comparisons of Ryback and Goldberg. Do you think that WWE maybe deliberately, possibly maybe put on the title on Ryback because of, Goldberg in the 1998 Monday Night Show that happened in Atlanta with Goldberg and Hollywood Hogan?
Well, thank you for the call, Justin, down in San Antonio. I don't think so. I mean, they need buzz. They need something. They need something for people to talk about. And I'm still not at all convinced that Ryback's leaving Atlanta as the WWE champion this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. I would be shocked if that happened. But at the same time, it would be buzzworthy, I guess. People would be talking about it, and CM Punk chasing back after his WWE championship could be fun for a little while. But again, I think Punk would be too damaged coming out of it, and Ryback would still have to lose eventually very soon.
How is Punk damaged, Damien?
337 days. 337 days.
Who cares?
It's all he's talked about.
It's a work.
It's all he's talked about.
So that makes it even better. Come on.
He's not losing.
You know what, Damien?
Afterwards.
Actually, I'm a little disappointed in you right now. I can't believe you're going to rest everything on X number of days of being a champion, and that's how he gets hurt by the whole thing.
I'm not
He
resting
becomes
anything on it.
stronger when he beats him in the rematch.
We talked about
Remember
this
when,
time last week.
Bro Cephas, when Rocky lost to Clubber Lang, it meant more when he beat him when everyone else thought he couldn't. Okay? When Rocky
So you're comparing this match to The Rock versus Clubber Lang. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. It
makes all the sense in the world to me. Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world now. Thank you for clearing that up.
It's about telling a story. When Rocky beat Dolph Lundgren after he killed his buddy, Apollo Creed, it meant more. The rematch always means more than the first match. Especially when... Oh, of course it does. You know, you remind me of a former ECW world champion I had a chat with over the weekend who also sounds just like you, saying that, you know, there's no way that's going to happen. Trust me. Believe me when I tell you that Ryback will leave Atlanta as the new WWE champion.
Should we read your lips first, or do you guarantee us? You're so far wrong on this issue, you may as well make a prediction for November 6th as well.
Homie the Clown.
Let's go down.
Remember? Listen. Remember when I said Sheamus was going to beat John Cena in the TLC match, and y'all thought I was crazy? What happened?
I don't recall you saying it in advance.
It's not a regular singles match. It's a Hell in a Cell. It's completely different.
Let's go to Arthur in Bloomington, who thought Raw tonight was a fail. Arthur, you're live here on PWR.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Arthur.
It was a fail because of AJ resigning, and we have to deal with Vicky Guerrero's mess again for a third straight time.
Excuse me?
Vicky Guerrero being in charge for a third time.
She is the, let me read my notes here because I forget. She is the managing supervisor. Is that above or beyond a crew leader at a fast food joint? No knock on any crew leaders at a fast food joint. I'm just saying. I'm trying to understand what a managing supervisor is.
But anyway, like I was, because there was a one quote when she was talking with John Cena that really got on my skin when she said, putting a business into a pleasure. Now, Damien, need I remind you, but did she do the same thing when she was general manager on a SmackDown with, let's say, I don't know, with Edge?
Oh, that's a good point, Arthur. Thank you for the call as well. Yes, indeed, Vicky Guerrero did the same thing. Well, you're supposed to forget that because that was more than 3 months ago, which is beyond the perceived memory span of professional wrestling fans.
And also, I mean, let's face it, if they were going to have every superstar resign from fraternizing in the locker room, there might be 4 or 5 guys left in that company right now.
Well, but the Hotel Motel Holiday Inn would be getting some good business. That's evil. Tonight's Raw. We've got... Well, no, I'm not evil at all. You've heard that song by Pitbull. We're at the hotel... Not Pitbull. Hotel Motel Holiday Inn. Anyways, thank you for those calls. And now let's go to Meathead, joining us here to talk a little bit about Impact Wrestling. Last week, Impact Wrestling coming off the heels of Bound for Glory. This week, what are we going to look for on the Thursday broadcast on Spike TV, Meathead, or what should we look for?
What we're hoping for a little bit more of an entertaining program. You would think, coming off of the heels of their number one show of the year, that they would have the, they had a reveal at the pay-per-view. You would think coming into that maybe we'd get a little bit of taste. You know, WWE, I will give them credit where credit is due. Their Raw, right after WrestleMania, is always the hottest thing. There's always a buzz. The 2 or 3 hour show never feels like that. I'm telling you, this last Impact was a chore. So what we're looking forward to this week, it's Championship Thursday. We've actually seen the TV title defended every week now since Samoa Joe got the belt back. We also are going to see a World Heavyweight
every week? Bro,
every week
it's been one.
Samoa Joe. There's been 3 title defenses already, Mr. Hero. I know that you don't
By
watch, even though
Joe?
all your friends work for TNA. I know you don't watch the program as much. So, Samoa Joe defends the TV title again this week. Also, we're going to have a World Heavyweight Championship match. I hope they decide to clear up the muddiness that is Kurt Angle is in line to be a number 1 contender. We've also got the number 1 contender who's going to be, Austin Aries, who's got a title match coming up. There's going to be a title match this Thursday. We've also got more developing with ODB and Eric Young, and a rematch as well with Tara, the new Knockouts champion, and going up against the former champion, Miss Tessmacher. So I'd love to see more on the Aces and Eights angle as well, but let's hope it's more entertaining than last week, because last week was kind of a...
That's Thursday nights right here on Blog Talk Radio. Meathead and Matthew Thomas with Sudden Impact Radio, talking all about TNA Impact Wrestling, which is on Thursday nights, of course, at 7 o'clock Central on Spike TV. Well, David, it's time for our final thoughts on WWE Raw, and tonight Raw focused, I thought, at least on some key talents and some key players. The team of Rhodes Scholars, Dolph Ziggler, obviously CM Punk, John Cena, Ryback, and AJ Lee. I'm happy with that. I was satisfied with the broadcast. It did not feel long at any point. Maybe that's because I was switching back and forth between it and the debate, but it didn't feel long at any point, and I really like the focus and the direction. And quite frankly, there was a point after the first hour where I said, you know what, they might be able to leave on a high note and just go off the air now. But it did so much, and obviously so, because the debate was coming along with Monday Night Football, heavy competition. So before all you people start talking, yes, the ratings for Raw will be substantially lower this week than they were for last week. Deal with it, get over it. It doesn't mean nothing. But they did a lot in that first hour, and I thought they could have ended it at that point. But going on for the next 2 hours did not ever feel laboring to me. It was a solid 3 hours of Raw. I would give it a pass tonight. But David Hero, your thoughts?
Absolutely. It's a passing grade, because what they did is they set up the importance of the Hell in a Cell by having the Lumberjacks go out there and by having everybody get involved in the match. The Hell in a Cell will now prevent that on Sunday from allowing everybody else to get involved in the shenanigans-filled screwjob finish like we saw tonight. And much of the same way Raw went off the air, we will see Ryback end the show, championship gold above his head.
Oh, man. Before we get to the final results of tonight's Twitter poll, pass or fail for WWE Raw, at least you're voting on it, I want to thank all of you. Nearly 100 people, David, are going to be in the special PWR section at MetLife Stadium for WrestleMania 29. Sweet and Sexy is completely sold out. No more tickets are available or will be available.
Oh, my gosh.
We want to thank all of you for joining us at Sweet and Sexy New York, and it's going to be a fun-filled weekend in New York City. And speaking of fun, coming up this Saturday night on Primetime Saturday night, we're going to have an interview, David Hero, with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's first time ever appearing on the Pro Wrestling Report. He's going to be joining us as our guest this Saturday on Primetime Television. And yes, I did ask him about Cody Rhodes. Now, we spent a lot of time over the last few weeks, or last week on Primetime, talking about ratings, David Hero. And it's interesting. Every week we're back a month. Going back to Raw of September 24th, 90% said that was a passing Raw. Raw on October 1st. I'm sorry, Raw on October 8th, 95% saying it was a passing Raw. Raw on last week, October 15th, 70% said Raw was passing. This week, 65% saying it's passing. So this is simply rating the show that aired and giving an analysis on the show that aired, and there's been a downward trend over the last few weeks, at least in the fans' perception of the quality of the show. That could be concerning, but going into Hell in a Cell this Sunday night, Hell in a Cell is not the strongest of pay-per-view cards. Let's be honest, folks. I think
you got
done
Miz
all
and
that they
Kofi
can
on there.
now.
That hurts.
Which is going to be a great wrestling matchup. The Rhodes Scholars versus Team Hell No is going to be a tremendous match as well.
I think that's going to be a great match. I think the tag titles are going to be defended, or that match will be, one that could possibly steal the show. Kane's picked up his game quite a bit, and then you got, Cody and DBD and Sandow, who are going to be the technicians. I think that's solid. I mean, right now, Sheamus and Big Show is going to be good. There's going to be two big guys punching and kicking, and then, of course, we got Punk and Ryback. I don't think that's going to be a great match. I think it's going to be a brutal one, even more punching and kicking in that one than what you're going to see in Sheamus and Big Show.
Well, as we said, 65% of you saying it was a pass, 35% saying it was a fail. I want to thank all of you for joining us here on Blog Talk Radio for the Pro Wrestling Report Monday Night Meltdown. We will see you again here on radio form on Thursday for Sudden Impact Radio, followed on Friday for Be the Booker for Hell in a Cell, and that one is definitely a must-see. And then Saturday, it's primetime Saturday night, where we will bring you an exclusive interview, a one-on-one interview I had the opportunity to Bobby Lashley. All that coming up this weekend on the Pro Wrestling Report. In the meantime and in between time, be sure you favorite this show here on Blog Talk Radio so that you never miss an episode. And we will see you again next Monday night right here on The Meltdown. So long, everyone.